Breaking this noon. Drugs, guns, and murder. 46 alleged members of a dangerous gang are off the streets of Jacksonville following a long-term investigation by local and federal authorities. Just take a look at these guns that were confiscated. This all stems from the Rolling 20s gang, which Jacksonville Sheriff Mike Williams says is a branch of the National Bloods gang. Our Juliet Dreyer, she is live outside of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office this noon. And Juliet, gang violence has been a major concern in our area. What kind of impact might these arrests have on Jacksonville?
Well, Katie, the sheriff went as far as to say that this gang, the Rolling 20s, has been dismantled. This was a large-scale operation. The sheriff says this gang has ties up and down the East Coast. Now, this investigation all started back in April 2016. Sheriff Mike Williams says the Rolling 20s gang is responsible for the planning and murder of a man who was a witness in a separate case against a gang member. The Rolling 20s members and associates face charges ranging from murder to cocaine sale. Now, police made the arrests in two phases. The first, 22 members, and then the second phase, members and associates who tried to fill those voids. In total, 46 arrests, 30 guns seized, along with cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, and marijuana.
Obviously, the city's safer. You've got, 46 gang members and associates that are taken off the streets, and at any given time, any of those could have been involved in a shooting, a robbery, a murder. They're trafficking drugs, they're trafficking narcotics. So you have 46 people now that are not involved in that and are not on the streets of Jacksonville.
So I want you to take a look at your screen right now. These 5 men you see on your screen are still wanted in connection to this investigation. Anyone with information on these men should call JSO or Crime Stoppers to remain anonymous. Now, the sheriff says their work doesn't end here. In fact, he says there are about 50 criminal street gangs in Jacksonville right now, ranging in size. And he says that they work every day to get those gang members off the streets and into custody. Now, our Eric Alvarez is digging through these arrests as we speak, and we'll have much more on this story tonight, beginning on First Coast News at 5. Reporting live in downtown Jacksonville, Juliet Dreyer, First Coast News on your side.